Welcome to Diamonds and Rust. I'm your host, the Stray Cat. One of the most iconic villains in the slasher genre is Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. His large stature, menacing chainsaw, and mask sewn from human skin rank him right up there with the likes of Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger. Though his mannerisms and characteristics vary from film to film due to always being portrayed by different actors, one thing's remained pretty consistent. He's always very terrifying, with one exception. That exception being Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Sometimes referred to as the return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or simply Texas Chainsaw 4, this was the third sequel in the franchise. Kinda. It's been considered a loose remake by some and a quasi-sequel by others. I tend to agree with the latter, especially after the true remake in 2003. The film was written and directed by Kim Henkel, who co-wrote and co-produced the original 1974 film. That sounds promising enough, as the original was a masterpiece in the horror genre, so let's take a look. We begin with the familiar opening narration, same as the previous three films. It all but dismisses the first two sequels, calling them minor but apparently related incidents. Those are some pretty condescending words from the filmmakers. They must have a lot of confidence in this installment. Cut to a young girl getting ready for prom, played by then unknown Renee Zellweger. At the prom we meet our other female lead, Heather, and this girl.
She just does that to make trouble, okay? It's obvious. It is so
What are you talking
painfully
about?
obvious. Don't even listen to a word she says. She's just trying to make trouble. It's just, she's such a bitch.
Sean?
Well, it wouldn't be a slasher film without bad acting. Heather finds her boyfriend Barry making out with another girl, so she steals his car and speeds off. Barry comes up with one of the most original and lamest excuses for cheating I've ever heard.
Look, guys need sex, okay? It's bad for you to get all worked up and then not get it. You can get prostate cancer. Is that what you want? Look, my father's a doctor, okay? I think I know what I'm talking about, so fuck you, Jenny.
And I'll be damned, it actually works.
It is my fault. I want to have sex with him. What if he gets cancer and all his hair falls out from all the drugs or something? And it could happen.
They find their friends Sean and Jenny hiding in the back seat, presumably getting high.
By the way, I know what you're doing in my car. You're getting stoned. If my dad smells your shit tomorrow, I'm gonna kick your ass.
During the car scene, they establish that Jenny is an insecure prude.
What are you afraid of? That they might try to fuck you?
Sean is a passive stoner.
Everybody knows that he's a little pothead and all you are is friends.
Barry is an asshole.
Okay, I lied. Big deal. It's not my fault they're stupid enough to believe it.
And Heather is an airhead.
What if we got into a wreck and we crashed into a car in front of us and we all died? They could write a song about it.
Thus we have our colorful collection of protagonists. They somehow end up lost
These assholes don't know how to make roads.
and get into a wreck with another car. They split up to get help, leaving Sean behind with the injured man. They walk through a very well-lit woods and finally come across an insurance office that's still for some reason open. Here we meet Darla, who calls a wrecker for them.
God damn, it's about time. Vilmer, listen. Some kids got in a wreck up the road and one of them's hurt. About a mile back up 709 from me.
Did she just say the road was 709? Wasn't that also the address? Anyway, moving on. While they wait for the tow truck, Darla entertains them with a joke.
Why do blondes stick their heads out of car windows?
Why?
Get a refill.
I don't get it.
Airhead.
Ironically, the blonde was the only one who laughed. Some locals harassed Darla, but she seems really calm about her window being broken.
Like I'm even interested.
That wreck really doesn't seem that bad to me. The tow truck shows up at the scene of the accident and... Wait, is that Matthew McConaughey? Oh boy, this should be interesting. Right away, Vilmer turns out to be batshit insane.
He's dead now.
Vilmer chases down Sean.
You tired yet, boy?
Please, mister, you're scaring me.
Oh, shit.
but isn't impressed with his acting, so he runs him over. Jenny, Heather, and Barry set out on foot back to the car, though I don't know why, since they thought it was being towed somewhere. They get split up, and as Jenny looks for her friends, she's attacked by a garbage bag. Meanwhile, Heather and Barry come across a farmhouse. Barry goes around back to look for the residents and finds W.
It's okay, we had a wreck. All we want is a ride.
Barry tries to bullshit his way out of it.
Hey, if I go in there, that's kidnapping. My father's a lawyer. I know what I'm talking about, okay?
But unlike Heather, W outwits him with an American history lesson.
Among other evils that being unarmed brings you, it causes you to be despised. That's Niccolo Machiavelli.
As Heather waits on the porch, she meets Leatherface, who's sporting a mullet and an army jacket. He chases her through the house, then reenacts the scene from the original film. Finally manages to outwit W, and instead of worrying about W coming in through the back door, or maybe more residents in the house, he simply finds the bathroom and takes a piss.
There's some crazy guy outside with a shotgun. Locked him out, though. You should have seen me.
Once he sees it's Buffalo Bill's bathtub, reality sets in. After subduing Barry, Leather Mullet once again reenacts a scene from the first film. You know, a part of me wants to give these scenes a pass since the two films do share the same writer, but the other part of me is saying fuck that, because if it's not a ripoff, then it's just a rehash. Either way, it's been done. Jenny gets picked up by Vilmer, who tries to scare the shit out of her, Matthew McConaughey style.
Yeah. You gotta watch get into cars with strangers these days. I heard about an old man once. Picked up a little girl on the side of the road. Shot both her arms off and stuffed her in the culvert. Left her for dead. God, I fucking hate that. I mean, that sorry son of a bitch didn't have shit for an imagination. How fucking simple can you get?
Stop, you're scaring me.
Scaring you? You're not scared. You don't know shit about being scared, little girl. Not yet.
He shows her that Sean and the other driver are dead. She jumps out of the truck and we get another chase. He lets her go, however.
It's up to you.
But she runs into Leatherface. He chases her into the house and locks him out. So he cuts through the door. Seems pretty familiar to me. She then jumps out the window. Then we get a rooftop chase. It was nice of the crew to put on those chicken boards for her to climb up. She climbs up the antenna for some reason, then jumps onto the cable line. But eventually Leatherface severs the cable and she plummets to the ground. After yet another chase, Jenny makes it back to Darla's office, which is still open. Darla tries to calm her down, and W shows up with probably the same bag that scared the shit out of Jenny earlier.
Come here, little lady. I got enough trouble with that. God damn it, W.E. Now look what you got started. Wait till Vilmer hears about this. I swear to God.
Go!
W spreads more of his historical knowledge with Jenny.
Conversation is a game of circles. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson.
And Darla finally closes up the office and drives off to get pizza with Jenny in the trunk.
Oh, lady?
Uh-huh.
I think you got something in your trunk.
That's just somebody I got tied up back there.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Really? What's back there?
You want to come see?
Sure.
What you got in the car, honey?
Believe me, you don't want to know.
Oh, come on now. I'm a nice guy. Man.
Is every guy in this town just horny and stupid? Darla comes across Heather, who I guess escaped between scenes, and gives her a good beating.
Don't! Don't hit me! Stop!
Ouch. She tells her to stay put.
But don't you go crawling off. Whatever W tells you, if he even tries to hit you, you let me know.
What the hell? Who's that? W then complains about the door being destroyed.
You damn fool! You ruined the door!
Vilmer expounds his conspiracy philosophies to Jenny as he begins to torment her.
You don't think the FBI has its place under 24-hour surveillance? You don't think there's transmitters in all these walls?
Leather Granny drags in Heather, who apparently honored Darla's request by not crawling away, and Jenny pleads for her safety.
Don't hurt her.
In the bathroom, Darla confirms Vilmer's paranoid conspiracies to Jenny.
I really shouldn't be telling you this, but you know how you always hear these stories about these people who run everything, but nobody knows who they are, right? Well, it's true. I mean, I never would have believed it, but it's all true. I mean, who do you think killed Kennedy?
Then we get some domestic violence between Darla and Vilmer. While the two of them are beating the shit out of each other, Jenny grabs the shotgun. It turns out to be empty, making that whole scene a complete waste of time. How did this asshole become a star? As Vilmer is acting like a moron, Jenny escapes and takes Darla's car. But with the help of some unnecessary slapstick, she crashes and is recaptured, making this scene also pointless. We then cut to some woman who looks as if she's also getting ready for the prom. Darla then pulls the pizza out of the oven. No comment on the redundancy of that shot. She then proceeds to play with Vilmer's remote control leg before they engage in some rough foreplay. Again, no comment.
All right.
Ugh, so this is where that shit began. We now see the dinner scene, also rehashed from the original film. Although I don't see Leatherface. He must be gearing up for a pretty awesome entrance. Darla tells Jenny some more conspiracy stories.
He put this little thing in my head, and all he has to do is push one little button, and there's nothing in your head.
Girl, you just said a mouthful.
Okay, that was pretty good. Jenny proves to be pretty brave as she slaps Vilmer a few times.
Touch me!
You better touch me!
Jenny then calls bullshit on the conspiracy stories.
I'm not gonna put up with any more of your crap. It's bullshit. Nobody believes any of it except your idiot girlfriend. It's fucking pathetic.
So Vilmer takes his rage out on his brother. Jenny tells him that she's leaving.
I'm gonna leave, and no one is gonna stop me.
And when the big ugly woman tries to object,
You sit the fuck down and shut up.
Jenny lays down the law. I gotta admit, Renee Zellweger's pretty awesome in this movie. Since he can't stand up to Jenny, Vilmer decides to light Heather on fire.
I'm sorry!
Some guy shows up at the house and reminds Vilmer who he works for.
You are here for one reason, and one reason only. It's very simple. I want these people to know the meaning of horror.
They put the Illuminati behind the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So now instead of being crazed cannibals, they're hired guns, part of a conspiracy. Fuck this movie. I suppose this dumb shit was foreshadowed earlier. So, after a lecture from his boss, Vilmer crushes Heather's head with his robot leg. And then begins self-mutilation. Jenny flees once again. Ah, finally. Wait, what? That's Leatherface? The woman in the dress? As Vilmer and Jenny fight, we get more slapstick as they battle over control of his robot leg. She finally manages to escape, and Leather Chick pursues her. What an asshole. She gets picked up by an elderly couple in a motorhome. After they wreck, a plane, for no reason, flies low and hits Vilmer, which kills him. As Leatherface screams like a bitch, the Illuminati guy picks Jenny up in his limo.
Would you like to go to the local hospital?
Fuck you.
Once at the hospital, we get a few cameos from the original. The cop, played by John Dugan, who played Grandpa in the original film, Marilyn Burns, who played Sally in the original, and the orderly, Paul Partain, who played Franklin.
What the hell is going on around here?
He must have just saw the dailies. And since the original ended with Leatherface going crazy with his chainsaw, we have to see Leather Chick do the same. Well, that was Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, and it was rust. Fortunately, there were 3 films made after this in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, and they were all far better. So, maybe this was a lesson learned. We can only hope. Until next time, I'm the Stray Cat, and this was Diamonds and Rust.